Alrighty guys, we're back for Grixis Anvil, and this is a Murders at Karlov Manor Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, of course, rocking all four Oni-Cult Anvils, 2 mana artifact, rocking Rakdos colors up there. Whenever one or more artifacts you control leave the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Now it also has that bottom ability where you can tap, sacrifice an artifact. Oni-Cult Anvil deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life as well. Yep, happens to be a decent card, dude, which reminds me, this was actually a suggestion down in the comments, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It was essentially to revisit Oni-Cult Anvil, so here we are. All right, we do have some new cards packed in that should work really well with Oni-Cult Anvil, like Gleaming Geardrake here. This is a 2 mana, 1/1 artifact creature. It does have flying. And when it ETBs, you investigate. So you get that clue token, which happens to be an artifact. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on Gleaming Geardrake. Okay, nice. So this is potentially one of our main win conditions, as this could get pretty big pretty fast in a build like this, as we're hoping to sacrifice at least 1 artifact a turn, right? So yeah, I don't know, man. It looks pretty sick. Oh, also rocking those Is It colors up there. And a very similar pick for this list is actually Crime Novelist. This is a 3 mana 1/3. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, you put a +1/+1 counter on Crime Novelist. Now, it unfortunately doesn't have the same evasion that Geardrake has, but it does have this bottom ability where you also get to add a red mana. Actually pretty sick, especially in a deck where we're definitely going to want to do more than one thing every turn. Other than that, we're not trying to do anything particularly fancy like ramp into anything big with this. Just, yeah, multiple things on the same turn happen to be decent. One more new card for the deck, Detective's Satchel. This is a 4 mana artifact, and when it ETBs, you investigate twice. So 4 mana, 3 artifacts on the board. Okay, well, why else is this in here then? So you can tap this, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Activate only if you've sacrificed an artifact this turn. Okay, yeah, that's pretty sick, actually. And so, I mean, you can also activate this on the opponent's turn too, which is actually pretty nice. But it's another way to get more artifact creatures onto the board, very similar to like that Oni-Cult Anvil. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't have like that ability where it deals 1 damage and you gain 1 life. But outside of that, the fact that the Thopters are flying creatures, that's going to matter, man. Yeah, I really like this pick for the top end. Excuse me, guys. Also noteworthy, all the new cards that I picked here with Crime Novelist and the Satchel and the Geardrake are all uncommons, so that's actually pretty sick, isn't it? And we do have some removal packed in with Kitesail Larcenist. 3 mana 2/3, flying with Ward 1 when it ETBs. For each player, you choose up to 1 other target artifact or creature that player controls. For as long as Larcenist remains on the battlefield, the chosen permanents become treasures. Very cool, man, and they lose all of their abilities, so for Larcenist, you're going to want to think of it as, of course, removal for the opponent's cards. But then, every now and then, you might turn like one of your creatures into a treasure token, either for like mana fixing, or just to use that treasure to get like the Oni-Cult Anvil ability going or something, right? Yeah, because the treasure happens to be an artifact. Okay, guys, we do have more removal packed in, all for Voltage Surge. Just doing 4 damage to something is going to come in handy every now and then. We do have, I guess, actually more removal if you want to consider Bloodtithe Harvester removal, which we kind of sort of do want to consider that, huh? Of course, when it ETBs, you get that blood token. The blood tokens are going to be excellent with the Oni-Cult Anvil. Bloodtithe Harvester happens to be an amazing creature. We also have Voldaren Epicure in here, giving us more blood tokens, more ways to poke the opponent's face too, so that'll come in handy. And we also have just more things that we don't mind sacrificing to like the Fanatical Offering to help restock our hand, like Greedy Freebooter here. It's a 1 mana 1/1 when it dies, you scry 1 and create a treasure token as well. Okay, very nice, guys, very nice. Yeah, restocking our hand with Fanatical Offering, which specifically reads 2 mana instant speed. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you sacrifice an artifact or creature, and then you draw 2 cards and you create that map token, so it plays really well into itself. Getting that extra map token on the board happens to be an artifact too, so that's all going to be fine and dandy. Relatively easy deck to go over here, huh, guys? Now, we do have a mana base over here, but give me 1 second. Okay, so for the mana base, we're opting for a bunch of fast land here. Darkslick Shores, we do have the Shivan Reefs. Hopefully the pain damage doesn't hurt us too much, especially since we're potentially gaining some life back off of the Oni-Cult Anvil anyways. More fast lands with the Blackcleave Cliffs. A Restless Vents, because the Restless lands do come in handy very often. Hopefully the tapped land doesn't hold us up too often. And same concept with Xander's Lounge, but a 3-color deck, man, it does get pretty greedy sometimes. So I do think all 4 of these is going to be necessary, but you never know, right? Like there's other potential options here if we want to rearrange our 1-drops, which I'll go over in just a second with the honorable mentions. Outside of that, yeah, just more tapped lands, but mana fixing is so important, bro. Leaning towards our red sources here, of course, we're rocking the Crucible, Defiance, Abandoned Mire, and also a Soaring City. Realistically, just splashing blue, here's the cards that have blue in it. And then the mana base is splashing that blue as well with the Shores, the Reef, and the Xander's Lounge. Okay, well, I somehow made a mess of things over here, guys. But yeah, here's the blue cards that we're splashing. Here's the cards in the mana base that'll help us with that splash, right? There we go. Honorable mentions, guys. Goldhound. Yeah, dude. Oh, and it pairs so beautifully with Crime Novelist, too. Do we want to drop the Voldaren Epicures and just go up a couple Goldhound? Honestly, probably not. I do think Epicure and the Blood Tokens is going to be a little bit better. But that's tough to say, man. Honorable mentions for a reason, for sure. And then what I wanted to bring up, too, is if we wanted to drop some of the Xander's Lounge and stuff, that's potentially where we'd want to lean into more mana fixing with the Goldhound, too. So that is something to consider, especially if you don't have the Xander's Lounge and you end up having to rearrange the mana base as well that way. So Goldhound, definitely honorable mention for a reason. How about Torch the Tower instead of Voltage Surge? I think in this build, I think we're just going to want to deal 4 damage more than we're going to want to care about exiling, but we'll see, we'll see. Transmogrant Crown almost made the cut in same concept with Krenko, just not this time round, huh? Okay, guys, let's go ahead, take it into some ranked, and see how we do. Ooh, right into that first game. Let's go. What am I expecting for the build, guys? Dude, I said it with the last sacrifice deck. I'm a little bit worried. Oh, this is an interesting hand. You know what? We go first. I'm gonna try it, dude. I want to see what happens with this. This I don't think we could have like a worse hand to showcase an Anvil deck, right? Let's try it. I'm curious. Anyways, the last time I played a sacrifice build, I made the comment that they're very difficult for me to pilot. And then I think I ended up scaring myself a little bit too much there. Okay, Commando faces Kitesail. Well, the ward on these Larcenists will come in handy against their burn spells and whatnot. Oh, that is definitely worth the Voltage Surge. I'm at 0. Okay, so we could get Larcenist down to be able to block the Commando, since we have 3 of them, though. Fanatical Offering not doing anything. I wouldn't mind getting Vents down for the turn, but it would be a little silly not to get the Larcenist down. And then no targets, but like it's a decent blocker, and it's a little bit hard for them to pick up, right? Because they would have to spend all 3 if they want to go Lightning Strike onto this. At that point, taking the block, Monstrous Rage. Monstrous Rage is a problem, but less damage, right? I think less damage is always the answer. So intentionally walking right into that one, right? And then they get to keep their Lightning Strike open for our face or something. Hey, there we go. Okay, we're drawing okay. Yeah, we're drawing okay overall. We slowed them down pretty good. And this is a similar concept. Submit 0 on our side, etching on their side. What happens to the monster roll? Because it won't be a creature anymore. The roll should go away, right? Because it says enchant creature. Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. And now if they remove Larcenist, it should go back as... And they have to pay 3 for this. And that's a lightning strike that's not hitting our face, guys. Now the commando does get through. And another Oh, wow. So still mono red pulling off some pretty significant damage here. Oni-Cult Anvil. Getting those down and established could be huge for us. Okay, and the good news is they can sacrifice to themselves if we want to get chump blockers down. But I don't want to do that just yet. Right, we could use one ability, sacrifice an artifact. We'll go back up to 13. We get 2 1/1s. The trample's going to get through anyways. I'm going to say that the opponent is not going to be able to have lethal on this turn, which is super risky, man. With 3 cards in hand and 4 mana, I don't know what it could be, but it could be something huge. Okay, a 5th mana. Okay. Come on, artifact. Oh no, Voltage Surge. Okay. So Larcenist etching out of the equation. That does slow things down. And then we'll have Voltage Surge when they bring the commando back. We still have Anvil to sacrifice into itself if we want. Or we could go Fanatical Offering on one of the Anvils too. It's probably just Larcenist number 3. Funny enough, the triple Larcenist in our opening hand really paid off, man. Limit 0 on our side. Oh, they're gonna go ahead and burn Larcenist away. So they pay the 1. Witchstalker Frenzy, 5 mana, take out that Larcenist. Okie dokies, this could be a problem. Voltage Surge is open if we still want to attempt to hit the etching. Ditching one of the Oni-Cult Anvils is particularly bad though, isn't it? If we don't see an artifact on top. Okay, it is now officially too risky here. We sacrifice the one that we tapped. Get a couple 1/1s. And then those play into themselves as well. So we'll still have 1, gain an extra 1 here. Yeah, I wanted to get other artifacts to sacrifice because I just feel like having 2 Oni-Cult Anvils on the board would have been incredibly beneficial for us. But that bit of life gain is probably going to go the extra mile. Okay, do you guys suppose they'll have something to get it above the 4? Actually, I'm just going to take the 3. I was going to say Voltage Surge. But if we go down to 8, oh, it still has 2 cards. It's more land. That's a little bit unlucky, isn't it? Crime Novelist. Okay, now we're talking, guys. Except I think it might be Fanatical Offering instead first. So we'll go for the swing. With 1 card remaining in the opponent's hand, I'd be shocked if they flooded out that much, right? I'd be pretty shocked by that. We get a map token back, and now we can sacrifice the map token to the Oni-Cult Anvil's ability. Another Anvil, not terrible, guys. And we also have Voltage Surge to sacrifice to the map, too, if we wanted... Or, sacrifice the map to that as well, if we wanted to do it that way. We actually might want to do it that way. Should we do it on our turn? Probably not. They could see something... They could see something really good. We keep Voltage Surge. Like, Squee is probably worth hitting before they swing in, right? That's pretty good. Can they bring it back right away? They can bring it back right away next turn, can't they? Crap, guys. Squee's really, really bad. Well, if they're going to bring it back and we have the chump anyways... Okay, here's what we'll do then. Here's what we'll do. We'll minimize the amount of damage by blocking the 1/1 into Squee. And then using the Voltage Surge on the etching. And sacrificing the 1/1. Hopefully that last card in hand, I was going to say, hopefully that's not something that can actually get that above, but... So we end up taking 1 here, and we don't want to use Anvil's ability on their turn, because then we won't get the 1/1. Okay, guys. A lot to think about here, for sure. So Crime Novelist, Oni-Cult Anvil, Bloodtithe Harvester was... if we didn't see Harvester, it would have been the second Anvil. So Anvil on the map. Yeah, with these style of builds, you really gotta focus in. Second Anvil would still be pretty good, man. But just getting Harvester down seems a little bit better right now. Gonna be a play with fire. Okay, hey, that's a play with fire. That's not hitting our face, man. Mishra's Foundry, that's a good draw for them at least. They go for no swings, actually. All right. So second Crime Novelist for sure. At what point? I guess we just keep the ball rolling, huh? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Second Anvil first. Then do it. Extra 1/1s, right? And right now we have nothing to do with those extra red mana. However, Crime Novelist might be worth a swing here, right? I'm swinging with that Crime Novelist. I think that's totally worth it. I think we get this 3 through without any issues. We still have this Oni-Cult Anvil open. I don't know. I think the opponent needs something terrific, man. Yeah, GG. Holy cow. All right. That's what I'm talking about, dude. I want to take a look at this board state again real quick. Always keep an eye down at the bottom of the video. We have chapters and we have timestamps down in the description as well. Yeah, we slowed the down. We slowed the opponent down significantly at the beginning there. When we hit that code breaker right on time, after that, we were kind of hitting everything we needed right on time. The triple Larcenist was actually really good, man. And like making the opponent pay extra for the ward cost and then burn that wasn't hitting our face. Like a lot of that just, it really started to put us in favor of winning that match. You know what I mean? That's good stuff, dude. Everything lined up like it was supposed to, I suppose. Whereas, like, as a starting hand that I would have considered incredibly janky. On that note, did I ever actually finish what I was expecting from the build? I don't think so. I got so distracted by how terrible that starting hand was. And then, yeah, it ended up not being terrible, which is really funny. I don't really know what to expect from the build, but after that match, now I'm expecting a little bit. You know what I mean? Opponent goes first here. Okay. Okay, I don't think this is... I mean, this is much better than the first hand, right? So... And if the first hand happened to be good still, then we should be able to pull something off here. Well... Could be some counter spells. I'd rather them counter a 1-drop than a 2-drop, so we might as well go Xander's Lounge. And on the note of 1-drops being countered, which one? I'm going to try to get Epicure down. Wouldn't be a particularly great hit for the opponent. Also, like, in the Jeskai builds we've been seeing, Lightning Helix is very popular. I think they'd... I mean, at that point, they'd probably just want to hit our face. If it was a Lightning Helix, then hitting Freebooter also would have been equally as bad as hitting an Epicure, so... Another Lounge. I don't mind it, but at this point, we want to get the Blackcleave Cliffs down. Have, like, Fanatical Offering open as we play Freebooter or something. We could start with the swing. Looks like one's going to get through. Attempt the Freebooter. Yeah, see, we're not giving the opponent incredible counters. We're just going to keep Fanatical Offering open. And we might end up sacrificing the Freebooter, but we don't necessarily need the ramp. I just wouldn't mind the Scry. And then, of course, the draw too as well. And before it ends up... That's a tough decision because if they counter Fanatical Offering, we'll get a free turn 3. So our Scry could help us find something that... Oh, another Larcenist. Is that going to be good against control, guys? I'm just not sure. I guess so. It's an expensive creature. If we send it to the bottom, we might just see land off the top or something. I guess we'll keep the Larcenist. What's going to be a swamp too? We do have the blood token open, but I don't want to use the treasure for that by any means. Voltage Surge. Okay, swamp comes down. We can swing for 1. Or we could use the map token, try to swing for 2. I think just keeping the artifacts open for when we do see our Oni-Cult Anvil will be a little better. Okay, and instead of Larcenist coming down, we're going to attempt Bloodtithe Harvester first, where we have 3 open. We play around that 2-mana counterspell No More Lies. Which is just like a really good counterspell, man. So do we want to pay this? Or do we just want to get Larcenist down instead? I say we get Larcenist down instead. How do you guys feel about that? Just because it has flying, which means it might get around Submit 0 here. Well, okay, Submit 0. I was going to say maybe turn the map into treasure, but we just don't need that. We don't need the ramp. We'd rather actually have a counter from the map. And a trade out with the blood token too. Oh no, the opponent's missing mana, guys. That kind of sucks, honestly. All right, swamp, because we can eventually trade out Xander's Lounge with the cycling. Yeah, even though the opponent's missing mana, I mean, technically it's still anyone's game as we are going very slow over here. We'll attempt the Crime Novelist. Now this is a good No More Lies counter, as we don't have 3 mana. Okay, Voltage Surge is open. We could do the map token. I think we're just going to keep the blood token open. And instead of using the cycle on the lounge, we'll probably ditch the lounge to the blood token. 4 mana. If that's a Wandering Emperor, that's pretty bad, huh? Yeah, 1 mana blood token instead of 3 mana cycling. Because I don't want to ditch the Voltage Surge or anything. Like, depending on what they do with the Wandering Emperor, that Voltage Surge could be very important. If we go Voltage Surge, now we just let them kill the Crime Novelist, right? Deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. We'd have to target one of our own things, sacrifice the map, put the Crime Novelist counter on top of the stack, and then they could still just play like another Lightning Helix after all that nonsense too. Okay, Greedy Freebooter. Yeah, we're just going to need to see a little bit more here, man. This time we'll start with the map on the Larcenist. Already has a huge target, but at least it has ward. So if it is going to be like another Lightning Helix. Okay, land off the top. Okay. So we swing for 3. Yeah, the extra counters on the Crime Novelist would have been huge for us. I'm not sure if these Jeskai builds run 4 of each of these, but I feel like that's the main concept of the Jeskai build, so I think they do. like 4 Lightning Helix, 4 No More Lies, right? I think that's the main concept behind it. You have enough blue sources on the board to just say, let's play the mountain. And if they see it land off the top and go like Sunfall, that would be devastating if we lose Larcenist number 2. More pressure on the board could be good. I guess Greedy Freebooter. But again, if it ends up being like a Sunfall, that's some tough decisions, man. Yeah, we're playing around a board wipe here just in case. If it is like a depopulate, then at least the Freebooter gets us the ramp and the scry. 5 mana open, they go to pass it back. Fanatical Offering, okay. We officially have all the mana we need on this board state for the rest of the game, and some. If it's going to be like Wandering Emperor, and if they go for the target with the -2... Oh. They end up taking the 4 down to 10. Okay, I think we pass it back. Still playing around a potential board wipe, as if nothing came down with 5 mana, Memory Deluge. Okay, they can easily find something here. Yeah, with them missing, I think it was like maybe 2 turns of their 4th mana. It didn't matter too much, as we weren't particularly set up to be aggressive. And so we were playing out the turns very slowly. So Farewell could come down here. It's going to be a Celestis. At that point, it still could be a Depopulate. Like they might be passing it back. I wouldn't mind the Fanatical Offering. Get that scry, get a little bit of card draw. That's probably pretty good, huh? Let's see what we see. I think the card draw here is essential. I think one of the big things we want to see... Well, Crime Novelist isn't bad. I think Anvil is like the big thing we want to see, though, right? I think at this point now, we just keep sending until we find Anvil to do that last bit of damage through. Ooh, the Geardrake is pretty good. Okay, okay. The opponent still has 4 open for a potential Wandering Emperor, too. Okay, more land off the top. Let's start with the map. Onto the Larcenist, see what happens. Crime Novelist. Okay, I guess we send it... yeah, same concept, dude. I think at this point now, we're in desperate need of dealing the rest of the damage with a couple anvils on the board. Especially since the opponent's playing the long game here anyways. We swing for 4. Plugging the extra counter onto the Geardrake may have been worth playing Geardrake before map, by the way, guys. Definitely something to consider there. Unfortunately, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to play yet for the turn without knowing more information. Looks like they're going to go ahead, pay the extra ward, get the Larcenist off of the board. So still only 1 getting through then. Okay. Well, the clue's pretty good for us. So this time round, we will get the Geardrake down beforehand. Do we start with the draw on our turn or their turn? I guess we do 1 on ours, see if we see an anvil with our 2 open mana then. Larcenist, okay. Well, we also have a treasure, so that's 4 open. We could draw again, see if we see anvil. Yeah, I guess so, right? Another Larcenist. Oh my goodness. Okay. Still afraid of board wipes, but we have triple Larcenist in hand to restock the board and all the mana we need, as well as a Voltage Surge still open too. 5 damage on the board if they don't have a board wipe too. Yeah, there's a lot to think about in these builds, huh? We go to their second main phase. Farewell. brutal stuff, man. All creatures, all enchantments, all graveyards, they decide they want to keep their Celestis, so we actually get to keep our treasure, too. The exile on the freebooter means we don't get anything from that. So now, when's the second board wipe happening? It took them a while for that farewell to drop. Larcenist, submit zero. Oh, hey, we can turn their Celestis into a treasure. I wasn't even thinking about that, guys. It's already essentially a treasure, but now it has to sacrifice itself. And we'll go second Larcenist. That's 4 on the board, guys. Submit 0. Actually, if we turn one of our own Larcenists into a treasure, it gives it protection from one of the board wipes, right? This is silly, guys. This is silly. We're just going all in. I think now that it's so late into... We could do it again, honestly, but now. Submit 0. Okay. That's funny. So we have 4 on the board, and if they wipe the board, we have the other Larcenist on the board. Does that make sense? Was that worth it? I have no idea, man. It's like a little bit of a back. Look at the tangled web of arrows that we conjured onto this board too. Oni-Cult Anvil. All right, guys. All right. So I suppose we start with the swing. It is 4. Yeah, the tangled web of arrows. Memory deluge. I can't tell if the opponent's getting unlucky. Or, like, maybe they had, like, for example, like, how long did it take them to find the farewell? Did they find it off the first memory deluge? Or did they have it and they're playing it out slowly as well just because we're playing it out so slowly? And of course, I mean, like, the cards and when they come down, not like taking their time or anything like that. They're playing at a good pace in that matter. Okay, they go get lost on the Larcenist. They have to pay the 1. We get some map tokens, which is actually pretty good for us, right? And it's the same concept with the Larcenist board wipe here. We'll still have a backup Larcenist, but at this point, yeah, dude, everything's coming down. Everything's coming down. Let's do this, man. Okay, save one of the map tokens for next turn. We do want to do this now. Get a 1/1. And now, the biggest threat. The biggest threat to us is farewell number 2. Easily. Easily, bro. If farewell number 2 comes down, it's game. And it's probably the opponent's, right? Because I don't know how we'd reestablish after that. Because our backup Larcenist would also get exiled. Okay, we do have blood token. I want to keep the voltage surge, though. Crucible could help us go wide enough here as well. That's pretty good for us, man. That's just not bad at all. Get that Crucible. We shall buff one of the spirits with the map token. Okay, let's hope it's not some kind of crazy instant speed board wipe, huh? That I can't think of right now. Soaring City, all right. I don't mind Soaring City, although I would have preferred the extra counter. They drop a Hull Breaker Horror. Holy cow, dude. Well, they still have 2 mana open, so this could be a big problem. We do have 4 mana if we want to get rid of our Larcenist backup, if we want to go Soaring City on that. On the stack, of course, they could still play something else from hand. So, this is 5 getting through. They need to bounce something here. Oh, Lightning Helix. They go ahead and actually target the 1/1, which means we can fizzle the target so they don't gain the life. So no target. Allbreaker Horror is a problem as they're going down to 1. Bouncing it back won't do too much, I would say. Losing the Bloodtithe Harvester. Yeah, bouncing it back won't do too much, right? There's so much to think about, guys. Crap. Okay. We'll see what the opponent can pull off here on their turn. But I don't like the odds of control right now being able to pull this back, you know what I mean? They go for the cycle. It might not have too much in hand. And they still have 7 mana. Which is still enough for Farewell number 2 or something. Is Anvil enough to get that last point of damage through, guys? Yeah, being able to fizzle out the artifact target from the Lightning Helix was pretty huge for us, man. When they targeted the artifact creature. That was good stuff. Looks like they might be passing it back. Okay. Passing it back. So do we start with Oni-Cult Anvil? Restless Vents. Alright, let's see what happens. Oni-Cult Anvil. Ditching the blood token. Memory Deluge. Wait a minute. I guess if they would have done that on their turn, it would have been the same. We would have just played Anvil and then done the same thing. I see, I see. Hey, GG opponent. GG, buddy. That was a longer match. 18 minutes, actually. Very nice, man. 2 victories in a row. Did that affect our rank? I feel like we were already halfway through Platinum. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be. 37 minutes into the video, guys. Let's go ahead and get one more match in. Win or lose, I'm pretty satisfied with how this has played out. Although it is really racking my brain, let me tell you what. With these sacrifice style builds, there's always just like so much to think about all the time. And like, where's the best profit? What to sacrifice and when? Like, a lot of practice is required for these, especially like the Oni-Cult Anvil ones too. There's a lot of little nuances on the cards like Oni-Cult Anvil. Oni goes first. All right. I think this is totally fine. The mana has been terrific, by the way. We haven't had any issues with the mana in these matches. Very nice draw. The Gleaming Geardrake is going to have a huge target on his back, though. Warden of the Inner Sky. They go for the tap. Luckily, they don't have another 1-drop here. Oh, or they do, and this is just the ones that they wanted to tap. Lethal Demolition. Okay. Okay. Guys, that's their turn, too. I don't mean to alarm anybody. But this is our second turn. Look at their board, dude. Holy cow. I don't even know where to start. Like, we're going to need blockers for days. I guess that and no attacks, right? As they could drop their third, buff their wide board state with a war leader. Okay, they don't have their third mana, luckily. But Epicure is still really... Oh, they do have their third. They just didn't have a 3-drop. I mean, that's probably good news, too. That means they're waiting for a top deck or waiting for a bigger setup here. Which could be pretty risky if they see Grixis colors over here and they're waiting for a bigger setup, you know what I mean? All right, I will gladly trade into one of the little goblins, see what's on top here, get a little bit of ramp, and keep the Geardrake back. Larcenist will likely come down to get rid of the Warden. More mana means we get another chump blocker on the ground with another freebooter. Unfortunately, guys, I think we should probably keep that, right? I think so. Okay. We play the mana. Larcenist comes down. Hit the Warden of the Inner Sky. We could also turn the Clue into more treasure. Actually, that's pretty good, isn't it? Warden of the Inner Sky. That is pretty good, man. Now we use these to play our freebooters. Geardrake gets a buff. Geardrake gets a buff. Pretty sick. Being down to 12, though, I do think that the opponent could potentially be explosive enough. And so we should probably keep the Geardrake back, unfortunately. Being a terrific blocker, too, we might actually hold their entire turn up. It was a pretty solid turn for us, man. Showcasing the synergies of the build very nicely. And being able to use the Larcenist. Yeah, that was sick. Detective Satchel might be a little bit slow here. Like, if we see mana off the top, maybe. But it is likely going to be a Fanatical Offering. Okay, Imodane's Recruiter. I wonder if that was a top deck? Or if they were holding out and, like I said, getting a little greedy with their full swing. We do have terrific blocks here, guys. Absolutely terrific. Frontliner does help them out a little bit. Let's see where they plug this. Okay. That makes sense to me. Okay. Take care of you. Take care of you. Frontliner's a problem. You take 6. Being able to come back is a problem. We like double block into Recruiter. Okay, GG opponent. GG. GG, buddy. I didn't think I was taking that long, but I think the opponent realized that that was going to start leaning towards us. Since they were losing a lot of creatures, they had no cards in hand. Here, let's view the board here real quick. They were losing a lot of creatures here. We weren't. We were actually going to be getting some treasures. We were going to be getting some scrying in as well. So I think the block that we were going to go for, it was a tough decision. Take less damage. It would have only been 1 less, though. So it was probably going to be Frontliner. The problem with what made that actually tough is they get that Unearth next turn, too. So, for example, if they saw War Leader's Call off the top and they drop it, then they bring the Frontliner back. Then that's an extra damage through. They still get the swing with this. They still get the buff with this, too. However, since we were getting a couple treasure tokens down too, our Geardrake was going to get even more buff. That's pretty sick, actually, man. All right. Very nice, guys. Very nice. Let's go ahead, go over the deck one more time. Yeah, it was definitely a tough one to pilot, but... What's a season rankings? Bro. Really? I don't think I've ever been playing while the ranks reset. Well, I guess it is what it is. Hey, while we're here, let's crack our packs, huh? We got 3 packs here. What on earth, dude? Okay, outrageous robbery. Hey, my first one apparently. All right. Hey, a lot of first here. And Kylox as well. I've been meaning to actually build around this, the law above. I have no idea how to pronounce that first part of the name. But it looks like a really cool, like, mid-range card or whatever. Okay, guys. Hey, another reason to always keep an eye at the bottom of the video's chapters. And then in the description, we got those timestamps too. And hey, while you're down in the description, make sure you check out that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. Okay, guys, here's the deck list again. Pretty good, man. The mana base was solid overall. Any changes to the mana base? Probably not, right? Even the slow lands felt totally fine. There was a lot of instances where we were like, okay, well, instead of our 2-drop, we'll just play our tap land and play our 1-drop this turn. That's totally fine. And every now and then that's going to be a little bit too slow. But guys, look at this. We also have the vault progress as well. What on earth? Oh, it kicked me out of the deck, though. That's funny, dude. So not only were we playing during the rank reset, we got some packs, but we also got the vault progress all at once, too. That's really funny. Okay, anyways, Larcenist was excellent. Dude, Kitesail Larcenist is just like such a good card. Every single time I've played with Larcenist, it just feels like an MVP. And in those matches, did it feel like an MVP? Dude, absolutely. Right? Yeah, I totally think so. Even in that last match, really showcasing its strengths by turning something into a treasure just to get more 1-drops onto the board. Voltage Surge felt fine. Today, we didn't have anything to actually deal 4 damage to, though, right? So this could be the bargain version of it instead. I guess that would be up to you. Maybe it would be 2 and 2, maybe it would be 3 and 1, or maybe you just want all 4 Voltage Surge anyways. Completely up to you, right? Okay, anything else we want to talk about? Yep, Oni-Cult Anvil was awesome when we saw it, and when we did see it, it did the thing, and we had enough artifacts on the board at any given time to actually do the thing too, so it felt like a really nice balance. Fanatical Offering as a 4-of seems a little necessary, as there's not a whole lot of other ways to actually restock our hand either, and Freebooter's extra treasures were so excellent too. Crime Novelist's extra mana came into play, what, 1 time in those games? I'm not so certain that we actually need all 4 of these, and I could actually potentially see dropping down to 2 and going up whatever you're seeing in the meta, going up like the counter of that, right? So if you're seeing a lot of aggro, just going up a couple more pieces of removal isn't going to hurt anything, right? Unless it ends up hurting how the mana base is set up a little bit, right? Because we got this split between red, black, and blue. If you drop a couple red and go up like a couple go for the throats or whatever your choice of removal is, that will mess up the mana base a little bit. So keep an eye on your percentages and adjust accordingly. Other than that, when we were going over the deck, we brought up some honorable mentions like Goldhound and stuff. It didn't really feel necessary. Yeah, the mana base just really held its own today, huh? Guys, let me know. What would you add or take out? Let me know in the comments for sure. Detective Satchel didn't get to come into play either. I could also see dropping this down to a 1-of and going up whatever the heck you need to see more of. You know what I mean? Same concept as the Crime Novelist, where if you are just seeing way too much, well, let's say the opposite side. Instead of aggro, if you're seeing like way too much control, then something that helps against control, well, that would actually be the Detective Satchel, right? Because this helps you reestablish a board state of Thopters. Yeah, never mind. The Detective Satchel with its Thopter ability is actually a really bad example if you are seeing a lot of control, right? Because I actually think that this would help you reestablish nicely. But you guys get the concept, right? If you're not seeing a lot of control, then you could drop the Detective Satchel. If you're seeing a lot of aggro instead, go up just another piece of spot removal, and I don't think you'd be mad about that at all. Okay, guys, enough rambling. Definitely let me know what you thought of this anvil list down in the comments. If you made it this far into the video, y'all are champions for real, and I will see you in the next one.